Good afternoon. My name is Chuck Octor, and I have the privilege this afternoon of introducing you to Ron and Jane Brown. We're here at Browerville Heritage Days, and we're at the Community Center, and we are putting on 2 days of Stories Not Lost, keeping the history of Browerville out in front of everybody. But this all got started last year when Ron and Jane headed up a group that had a program in Waite Park. And Ron and Jane, do you want to talk just quickly about that program and how we got to here, okay?
Okay, so Ron and I have done genealogy forever in history, and we had closets full of it and felt it should be shared with people of Browerville, or people that know something about Browerville. And so we started putting together bifolds, cutting and snipping, and then we thought, you know, we need to have a place for this. And so it ended up a 2-day with, the morning was open for everybody, and then it went on with, we broke into sessions, you know, like traditions, like Chuck did 3 amazing, what do you call them, Chuck, workshops?
Yeah.
I think we'll call them. And they were just amazing. So people were able to break in and go to different workshops throughout the day.
And we called it the Browerville Connection Reunion.
Right.
Neat, neat. And I hope in the background you can see trifolds that Jane and Ron have put together sharing Browerville history. Just give us a little quick dab of what we have here for people to look at.
Of course, the school, the country schools, the high school, the railroad coming, Hartford. Browerville was the village of Hartford, and then when it was on the river, right?
Yeah.
And then when the railroad came through, they thought it would come through closer to them. So then they ended up moving one of the buildings for sure, but they moved the whole town to where it is today.
Okay.
And so that, and oh my goodness sakes, help me out, Ron, all the stores and the starting of Browerville, the starting of churches, where there was 1, and then there was 2, and then there was more, and the lakes, genealogy, we had a room for genealogy. And as this progressed, we thought, what are we gonna do with this? We don't need it in our closet, and where is it gonna go? And then with Chuck's presentations, we decided Browerville needs a museum.
Chuck, tell
Because-
the Joanne Benning
Well,
story.
last year I was sitting at a table just like this, and Joanne and Dave Benning were sitting there, and I think Diane and Speed Holler were sitting there, and Joanne had seen the presentation, and she said, "Oh my goodness, you have to bring this to Browerville." Hence, we're here sitting in Browerville.
Here we are.
Here we are for these 2 days.
It's a privilege to be
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and I do want to say that Sue was
We're gonna interview Sue next to
Okay.
do everything on
But
that, so.
she was such a main part of this too, where she brought all of her history
Right.
from the military people. That was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
amazing.
So we've been meeting as a group the past half a year or so
Right.
to look at possibility of a Browerville Legacy Museum. Anything you'd like to share about that? We will learn more about that in time to come.
In time to come, but as we brought it back to Browerville, there are a lot of people here that are interested too. We all have stuff in our house, in our attic, that were our parents, our grandparents. And our children not so much want this stuff, and they're treasures, that it belongs back in Browerville to be shared.
Yeah, we can't lose those stories.
We can't.
They were
The
very, very
stories,
important stories.
those stories are important. Great grandparents are most of them who came here and settled here. So now when we're gone, it's another generation gone, and those stories will be lost if we don't save them.
My best guess is all of us have said, I wish I would have asked my dad, I wish I would have asked my mom that question.
Forever, Chuck.
Yeah, and we can't lose, we don't want to lose our stories in the next generation.
No, and we don't want to lose the story of Browerville.
Yeah.
The reason this all started was, I'm from Clarissa and Ron's from Browerville. And when we meet new people. They'll say, where are you from? And I'll say Clarissa, they'll say, where's that? Ron will say Browerville, and 90% of the time, they have a connection.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's different here? But there's so much rich history in this town of people that have gone on and done phenomenal things.
Yeah.
And sticking together and working together with the churches and the schools, and
Right.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing, and we will post this so people could see it and enjoy the days together. Thank you very
Chuck.
much.
Thank you.
You bet. Now,